Hi everyone! Welcome back to my YouTube channel. I am Fried. Sa video na ito, tatalakayin natin ang isa sa nakaka-confuse pero challenging na topic noong college. Walang iba kundi ang 5 basic sentence patterns. A sentence has two parts, a subject and a verb. A subject tells what or who is being talked about in the sentence. Ibig sabihin, sino o ano ang pinag-uusapan sa isang pangungusap, while a verb shows an action or a state of being. These verbs can be an action word, a linking verb, or a verb phrase. A sentence with a subject and a verb express a complete thought when they are combined together. There are 5 patterns in which most English sentences are built. Let's have the first pattern. This pattern is composed of the subject, the linking verb, and the complement. Linking verbs are verbs that do not take an action, while a complement is a noun or an adjective that follows a linking verb. Our sentence is, the man is a doctor. The man is our subject. Is the linking verb. A doctor is a noun. A doctor is a word that describes the man who is the doctor. And the answer is the man. Who is the man? A doctor. A doctor is a complement of the subject, the man. This sentence is an example of subject, linking verb, and complement. Why do we use is as the linking verb? It is says in the subject-verb agreement that if we are talking of only one person, one place, one thing, it means singular subject, then we have to use a singular verb also. Now, let's use the linking verb are. This time, our sentence is, those men are doctors. We have plural subject. Those men. We have a plural subject. That is why we have to use a plural linking verb. The word doctors function as a noun. Who are those men? Doctors. And who are the doctors? Those men. This means that the word doctor is a complement of the subject, those men. Now let's use another linking verb. We have our third linking verb, was. The subject is the man, a singular subject. The linking verb is was. This means that the word former doctor is the complement, which functions as a noun. Let's have the fourth linking verb. Those men were former doctors. We have a plural subject. We also have a past tense linking verb. The word former doctors also function as a complement. Now let's have the fifth linking verb. I am your teacher. I is the subject. Am is the linking verb. Who is your teacher? The answer is I. And who am I? The answer is your teacher. The word your teacher functions as a complement. So these are the 5 be verbs, linking verbs. Maliban sa 5 be verbs na nabanggit, meron pa tayong tinatawag na ibang linking verbs. So these are the verbs that pertain to 5 senses. For the sense of sight, we can have the linking verb appear, become, seems. For the sense of smell, we can use the linking verb smell. And for the sense of taste, we can use the linking verb taste. For the sense of hearing, we can use the linking verb sound. For the sense of touch, we can use the verb feel. Let's use them in a sentence. She looks happy. She is the subject. Looks is the verb. Happy functions as an adjective. Who is happy? She. And how are we going to describe she? Happy. Aside from the linking verb looks, we can also use the linking verbs appears, becomes, and seems in a sentence. For the sense of smell, we have the linking verb smell. Say for example, the tomato smells rotten. The tomato is our subject. Smells is the linking verb. The word rotten is an adjective. How can we describe the tomato? It smells rotten. Okay? What smells rotten? It's the tomato. Now, let's have the sentence with the use of sense of taste. The soup tastes delicious. Our subject is the word the soup, a singular subject. We also have a singular linking verb, tastes. The word delicious functions as an adjective, which describes the state of being of the subject, the soup. What is delicious? The soup. And how can we describe the soup? Delicious. Meaning to say, this word, delicious, is a complement of the subject, the soup. Our next sentence has something to do with the sense of touch. The sweater feels itchy. Our subject is the sweater. The word feels is our linking verb. The word itchy is an adjective. What is itchy? The sweater. And how can you describe the sweater when being worn? Feels itchy. The subject, the sweater, does not perform an action. The word feels functions as a linking verb because it describes the state of being of the word the sweater. Then we have the fifth sense, which is the sense of hearing. Our sentence is, the doorbell sounds broken. What is being talked about in the sentence? It's the doorbell. So, meaning to say, this is our subject. Our linking verb is the word sounds. Singular subject takes singular verb. A singular linking verb. Now, the word broken is an adjective. What sounds broken? It's the doorbell. And what can you say about the doorbell? Sounds broken. The word broken is the complement of the subject, the doorbell. So these are the examples of the linking verbs with the be verbs and linking verbs pertaining to the 5 senses. You have to take note na hindi porket nagkita tayo ng linking verbs in the form of be verbs, is, was, are, were, am, and linking verbs pertaining to any of the 5 senses, ay i-consider natin siya always as a linking verb. No, the concept doesn't go that way. Remember, linking verbs are verbs that do not take an action. Instead, those are the verbs that tell us a state of being of the subject. Now, if in the sentence makita nyo yung mga linking verbs, tasted, seemed, appeared, became, which showed an action, we will now have the second sentence pattern, the STV-DO pattern. This pattern is composed of the subject, the transitive verb, and the direct object. The transitive verb is an action verb that requires an object for its meaning to be complete. Direct object answers the question, what or who. I is considered the subject of the sentence because I am the one who performed the action. I am the one who tasted the food. Now we have the word tasted. Pansamantala, let us label this word as a verb. Direct object answers the question either what or who. I tasted what? The answer is the food. If this is answerable by the what question, this word is considered a direct object. Now, if we have a direct object in the sentence, it is understood that this verb will now be labeled as a transitive verb. Now, let's try to compare sentences with a subject-transitive verb direct object pattern from a subject linking verb complement. I tasted the food. Tasted functions here as the transitive verb because it shows an action. Who performed the action? I. And what did I do? I tasted the food. If the verb shows an action, that is considered as a transitive verb. Let's try to contrast it with the SLVC pattern. The food is considered as the subject. Tastes is the verb. Delicious is an adjective. If this is an adjective, this is considered as a complement. What can you say about the food? It tastes delicious. What is delicious? The food. The word tastes functions as a linking verb because it shows a state of being. It describes that the food is delicious. The food cannot perform its action, right? Again, if we are only describing a state of being, then the verb is considered linking verb. But if the verb shows an action word, that is considered a transitive verb. Let's have the second sentence. I adore you. I is the subject. Adore is the verb. I adore who or who do I adore? This is answerable by the who question. If this is answerable by the who question, this word is understood as a direct object. Now, if we have a direct object in the sentence, we have here a transitive verb. The people is considered the subject of the sentence. Okay. What is the verb being performed? Requested. The people requested what? And the answer is rise. This is answerable by the what question. This means that the word rise is a direct object. Now, if we have a direct object in the sentence, we can name this as a transitive verb. Our pattern is subject, transitive verb, direct object. What if the sentence goes like this? The friendly people requested rise. Do you think there will be changes in our sentence when we talk of the sentence pattern? Let's try to analyze the sentence. Our subject is the friendly people. As you have noticed, may isang word na nadagdag before the word people. The word friendly functions as an adjective, salitang naglalarawan. This is what we call a subject modified with an adjective. Then again, we consider this as a complete subject. What is the verb being performed? Requested. Requested functions as a verb. Now, the friendly people requested what? The answer is rise. Again, this is answerable by the what question. Therefore, this will be labeled as a direct object. If we have direct object in the sentence, we will turn this into transitive verb. Our sentence is not affected by this modifier or this adjective. We still have a subject, transitive verb, direct object pattern. Let us have another sentence. The people in the restaurant requested rice. Who is our subject in the sentence? The people in the restaurant. This is what we call a subject modified with an adjective. This is considered a modifier of the word the people. Nasaan ang mga tao? Nasa restaurant. The people in the restaurant. A subject being modified with an adjective. What is the verb? Requested. This is considered a verb. This is, again, a direct object. If we have direct object, we will now have a transitive verb. The adding of the modifiers or prepositions, adverbs, will never affect the sentence pattern. Who is our subject? It's the people. What is the verb being performed? Requested. The people requested what? The answer is boiled rice. This word, boiled, modifies or describes the word rice. Ang tawag natin dito is an object since this is a direct object, an object modified with an adjective. If we have direct object, we have a transitive verb. The people requested hot, white rice. The people is considered the subject. The word requested is the verb. The people requested what? The answer is hot, white rice. This is considered a direct object. Since the word hot, white rice is considered direct object, ngayon ay tinatawag natin siyang an object modified with one or more adjective. Again, the modifiers do not affect the pattern. Our next pattern is the SIV pattern. This pattern is composed of the subject and the intransitive verb. The intransitive verb is an action word that does not require an object for its meaning to be complete. Say, for example, the sentence is, she sleeps. Who is our subject? She. And what does she perform? Sleeps. Therefore, sleeps is a verb. Now, as you notice, we have a subject and a verb with a complete thought already. Now, can you think of a word answerable by what or who na pwede natin idagdag after the word sleeps? A word answerable by what or who? Can you think of a word? There is none. Meaning to say, though our sentence here doesn't have a direct object, the meaning of the sentence is still complete. We have the subject, we have the verb, and we have a complete thought. Now let's try to add some words in the sentence. She sleeps soundly. We have the subject, she. We have the verb, sleeps. Kung mapapansin nyo, an adverb, the word soundly, is added in the sentence to tell us how she sleeps. Papaano nga ba siya matulog? The answer is soundly. And this word soundly is an adverb of manner, answering the question, how? There is no direct object in the sentence, right? There is no word answerable by what or by who. Instead, we have this word answerable by how question. But this is not considered a direct object. And this word, soundly, doesn't affect the pattern. We still have SIV pattern. Our next sentence is, she sleeps on the sofa. She is the subject. Sleeps is the verb. She sleeps where? The answer is on the sofa. As you have noticed, an adverb of place is being added in the sentence to tell us where she sleeps. Saan nga ba siya natutulog? On the sofa. And this is an adverb of place. Since this is an adverb of place and answers the question where, saan, it is not a direct object. It is not answerable by what? It is not answerable by who question. But instead, it is answerable by where question. Therefore, we still have an intransitive verb. Let's try to have another sentence. She sleeps every afternoon. We have a subject, she. We have the verb, sleeps. Every afternoon is being added to tell us when she sleeps. Kailan siya natutulog? Or tuwing kailan siya natutulog? The answer is every afternoon. This is answerable by when question. Not by what question, not by who question. This is an adverb of time. Again, if there is no direct object in the sentence, we will label this verb as intransitive verb. Again, the adding of any adverb or prepositional phrases do not affect the sentence pattern, but they make the meaning of the sentence more complete or more understandable or detailed. This pattern is composed of subject, transitive verb, indirect object, and direct object. Again, if there is a direct object, we call the verb transitive verb. Now, how about indirect object? This indirect object answers the question for whom or to whom, kanino or para kanino, while the direct object answers the question what or who, ano o sino. Let's try to analyze this sentence. Mary lent Josh money. Mary is considered the subject. How about the verb being performed? We have lent as a verb. I-label muna natin ito pansamantala as a verb when analyzing the sentence. Now, Mary lent what? Ano yung ipinahiram ni Mary? The answer is money. If this is answerable by what question? This word is considered as direct object. If we have direct object in the sentence, we can now name this verb as a transitive verb. Mary lent money kanino? Kanino ipinahiram ni Mary ang kaniyang pera? The answer is Josh. Josh functions here as an indirect object because it answers the question for whom or to whom. Si Josh ang recipient ng pera. Anna taught her the answer. Anna is our subject because Anna is the doer of the action. She is the one performing an action. Now, what is the verb being performed? The word is taught. Anna taught what? Ano ang itinuro ni Anna? We have the word here, answer. This is considered a direct object. And if we have DO or direct object in the sentence, we have the verb transitive verb. Anna taught the answer to whom? Or kanino itinuro ni Anna ang sagot? The answer is her. Meaning to say, the word her is considered indirect object. We have here another sentence. I gave my mom flowers. I is the subject. Gave is the verb. I gave what? The answer is flowers. This is considered direct object. Answering the question, what? If we have a direct object, we have also a transitive verb. I gave flowers to whom? Kanino ko ibinigay ang mga bulaklak? The answer is my mom. This is considered indirect object. Now let's try to analyze this sentence. I gave flowers to my mom. I is the subject. Gave is the verb. I gave what? Ano ang ibinigay ko? The answer is flowers. And this is considered as direct object. Kapag may direct object, the verb will be transitive verb. Now, look at these words. To my mom. I gave flowers to whom? Kanino ko ibinigay ang mga bulaklak? The answer is to my mom. And this is considered as indirect object. But as you notice, our pattern is subject, transitive verb, indirect object, and direct object. Do you think it is possible for us to have this pattern? Do you think we can interchange the pattern? The answer is no. We cannot interchange the pattern because our pattern should only be STVIODO and not STVDOIO. Even though the word to my mom is considered indirect object, it answers the question for whom or to whom, may recipient, kung kanino mo ibibigay ang flowers. But look at the arrangement of the words. I have mentioned earlier that prepositions are not included in the sentence pattern. To my mom is an example of prepositional phrase because this one is a preposition. This means that the remaining sentence after the word to is a phrase. It's a prepositional phrase. Let's try to exclude these words in a sentence. I gave flowers. Our pattern should only be STVDO. Our next pattern is the STVDOOC pattern. This pattern is composed of the subject, transitive verb, direct object, and the objective complement. The direct object answers the question what or who. If there is direct object in the sentence, we have a transitive verb. Now, how about the objective complement or object complement? The objective complement tells us or describes something about the direct object. Let's try to analyze the sentence. She called the boy attractive. She is the subject. Called is the verb. She called who? Sino yung tinatawag niyang attractive? The answer is the boy. This is answerable by the who question. Or if being answered by the what question, this is considered still as a direct object. Kapag may direct object, we have a transitive verb. There is the word attractive. Attractive is an adjective. Who is being described as attractive? The answer is the boy. And what can you say about, or how can you describe the boy? The answer is attractive. Meaning to say, the word attractive is the objective complement of the direct object, the boy. And as you notice, we are referring to one person with the use of a modifier or a complement. Remember that an objective complement can either be a noun or an adjective. We elected him president of the class. We is considered as the subject. We have the verb elected. Now, the question is, we elected who as president of the class? Sino yung inelect namin as president of the class? The answer is him. And this is considered as direct object. Again, kapag may direct object, meron tayong transitive verb. Then we have this word, president of the class. Sino ang tinutukoy na president of the class? The answer is him. And what is him elected for? The answer is president of the class. The word president of the class is the objective complement of the word him, or the direct object him. I'm going to give you sentences and you're going to analyze to which pattern the sentences belong to. I painted the blue house. What is the pattern? We have subject, which is I, painted as the verb. The blue house is considered a direct object. I painted what? The blue house. This is answerable by what question? And this is understood as direct object. Do not be confused of the modifier blue. This is an adjective which modifies or describes the house. We have this direct object, and of course, the verb will turn out as transitive verb. Our pattern is subject, transitive verb, direct object for this sentence. I painted the house blue. What is the sentence pattern? Let's have I as the subject. Painted is the verb. I painted what? The answer is the house. The house is considered a direct object. Okay, if we have direct object, we have transitive verb. Now, what is the color of the house? The answer is blue. Blue is an adjective which pertains to the house, the color of the house. And what is the color of the house? The answer is blue. Therefore, the word blue is the objective complement of the direct object. Our pattern is STV-VOOC. What if the sentence goes like this? What is the pattern? The blue house was painted. What is the subject? The blue house. This is the subject. Do not be confused of the word blue, because this is a modifier of the subject house. This is what we call a complete subject. Okay. Was painted is a verb. This sentence is complete already without direct object. Meaning to say we have intransitive verb. Tomorrow will be sunny day. What is the pattern? Tomorrow is the subject. Will be is considered an auxiliary verb. When we say auxiliary verb, meron tayong helping verbs or in the form of modals, can, may, shall, would, and so on, plus the main verb, be. Will be, okay, label natin siya pansamantala as a verb. Do you think the pattern is STVDO? Or we have another pattern? Okay, for the meantime, let's label this pattern as STVDO pattern. Subject, transitive verb, direct object. Tomorrow will be what? Ang sagot natin, sunny day. Right? How about analyzing these verbs? Is this an action verb or a state of being? Yung tomorrow ba na subject makakapag-perform ng action? If yes, that is considered a transitive verb. If no, at kung dinidescribe lamang natin siya, state of being, that will be named as linking verb. So what is the answer? Our pattern is SLVC. Sunny day is the complement of the subject tomorrow. Again, these linking verbs shows a state of being. It is not an action word because this subject cannot perform an action. This is all about the 5 basic sentence patterns. See you on my next educational videos.